All right, and we are live. Bismillah. Assalamu alaikum, guys. Welcome to the Ummahpreneur Live podcast. And today I have with me Sister Uzma Ahmad. Uzma, assalamu alaikum. I'm so excited to interview you today.
Walaikum salam. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you so much for inviting me.
Of course, it's a pleasure. And honestly, I'm so excited because my guest today is a very unique guest, guys. I know I brought you people in Islamic finance, entrepreneurs, coaches, consultants, service providers, all across the board. But this is the first time that I bring really someone that I admire for turning her creativity, her passion into a business. And Uzma is the founder of the Arty Party Tribe. Arty Party offers live virtual draw-alongs where you can bring friends or colleagues together to play mini games, de-stress, have loads of fun, and get your creative juices flowing. And she got me on one of her lives to do a quick draw challenge. It's a game show where you race against the clock in fun doodling games. And let me tell you, I went on this game show. I didn't know what to expect. We went on for about 30 minutes. It was one of the funnest 30 minutes that I've had this year. Look, it's been locked down. I've had much social interaction and it was absolutely a blast. So I can see really the value that you bring in what you do and just the level of fun and excitement that you bring along with your activities and what you do with Arty Party. So I'm so excited to talk about it, inshallah, and really just honored to interview you today. So thank you for that.
No, thank you. This is really exciting. I'm excited to talk about it. Like, I feel like it's been a really, really fun journey so far, and I'm so glad that you enjoyed it. I'm so happy you came on quikdraw, and it was great for me too.
Yeah, it was absolutely amazing. So let's start from the beginning. Let's tell people a little bit about what inspired you to create quikdraw. And for people who don't know, Uzma is honestly a creative. She's an amazing artist. And with Arty Party, it's a way for her to turn that artistry into a business. So that's where this interview becomes really interesting, because I know a lot of you other artists, you're creatives, and you're wondering, how can I, transition full time? What is it that I can possibly do with my artistry, my creativity? So tell me, Uzma, for you, what inspired you to create Arty Party? How did you even come up with this idea?
It's really interesting. Actually, it started recently because of the quarantine. So in quarantine, you know how everything was shutting down and it was like really depressing, like back in 2020. And my nephew, he was a little far from me and then we couldn't really meet up and stuff. So, and I saw how sad he was. I felt the sadness too, and I'm a graphic designer actually, and I have my own business, and the projects were getting like canceled, events were getting canceled. So there's a lot of time on my hands. I didn't know what to do. And then I realized, look, these kids, they they miss each other. Like my nephew misses seeing me. I miss seeing him. And he also has cousins overseas and stuff. I was thinking about the kids. I was like, oh, they're probably really sad. They can't go out. They can't do anything. So then the idea started like, hey, let's just, draw together online. And I started with my cousin's kids and my nephew and stuff. So it was fun. They really enjoyed it. And then I started to expand and say, hey, listen, why can't I do this with other people and like with adults? Like, why just leave it for kids? Because, we all need to connect and de-stress. And this was a fun way to do it, alhamdulillah. And that's how it basically started last April. And so far, it's been great. Alhamdulillah.
That's amazing, mashallah. What came up? How did you come up with the idea to actually take your art and say, okay, I want to create, this this game show, which is spectacular, to be honest with you, and it happens live on our Instagram every week, guys. So go follow her. It's Uzma Colors. Is that it?
Yes, Uzma Colors. Yeah.
Uzma Colors. So check it out, guys. It happens every week. It's absolutely a great time. It's a fun time to watch. You came up with that, and you came up also with these events that you put out for organizations, for families, for colleagues. What brought you to do that? Is it that you have previous experience in setting up events, in organization, or was it just an idea?
Quikdraw was actually, I think it started way before that. I think they started with my parents. I think there's something in my blood of like doing games and stuff. So, because like when we were living in Saudi Arabia, we were living around family, and my parents were the ones who would be like have game nights and stuff. So I think I always had that in me, seeing them like run these like cool things, and like everyone would participate, Pictionary kind of style. So I always had that in me, like I love doing that. And of course with drawing, it's I think it's super fun when you're under the pressure. You felt that, right? In quikdraw, under the pressure and the the timings
Yes.
and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of fun in that sense. So Arty Party was basically a bit of that. It starts off with quikdraw. It starts off with little mini games, and then then we have like the draw along or paint along.
Mhm.
So basically I've always competitive, and I always loved gaming games and stuff like that. So I think it's always been a part of me, and I just kind of I don't know. I don't know how I got the idea of just twisting it. Like, why don't we just play something like Pictionary online and just give different twists and mini games? So alhamdulillah, yeah, that's how it's
Genius, honestly, genius. I love the idea. It was so much fun to go through and to do, honestly. And I think it's great because, you know, these are really the things that attract attention, and they're creative ways to leverage your creativity, right? If you're someone who likes drawing and who likes to paint and who likes to, who's passionate about art in that way, you know, this is a fun way where you can now share that passion with others, right? And now you have given others an opportunity to kind of see into your world. And I'm not someone who usually draws. I love painting, but I'm really bad at it, right? Shout out to Bob Ross. He's awesome. But you know, getting on, I didn't know what to expect. And you know, there was one point where you had us draw the alien, right? And you wanted us to put on accessories. And I realized you walked us through it. You're like, okay, draw the head, draw the arms, draw the legs. And it's like, oh, wait, you know, I guess, you know, with the right guidance, I could possibly draw. This is, you know, with the right steps, it's there. So it's cool because it gives me that opportunity as someone who isn't necessarily an artist or doesn't consider themselves so, to get a chance to try it out and, you know, see for themselves, do I like this or not?
Yeah, and I think that's like the motto that I have. Like, basically, everyone is an artist. Everyone's born an artist. Like, people grow up, you know, as kids, you grow up, and you know you see little kids now too, right? You know, they're drawing, and they're so proud of their drawings, and they're stick figures. They have they're super confident about their work, you know. And I think we were all like that growing up. We all had that passion. But as time grew by, you know, we didn't work on those skills, or, you know, people told us like, oh, you're not an artist or something, you know, and you stop drawing. But I think we all have that little bit of creativity and stuff. And with, you know, if you do things step by step, I think everyone can draw amazing things and, you know, create a lot of amazing things. And I like bringing that creativity out of people, you know, making them see themselves as that.
100%. And that's what's so cool. And I want to ask you, Uzma, because a lot of people, they listen to this podcast and, you know, like I mentioned earlier, they're passionate about their art. I know so many that are painters, they're creatives. And the first question they ask is, you know, Abby, what can I do with this? You know, I understand that, you know, I want to be able to do this full time. Is there other options outside of, you know, selling my paintings or, you know, doing art for commission? So you've really brought a unique twist to that where, you know, you don't, from what I know, do you sell your art? Do you do that on the side? Do you sell any commission work?
Not drawings and paintings, but I do like children's illustrations, books illustrations.
Okay.
So I've done a couple of books like that. So I guess that's where the drawing and illustration comes in.
Cool.
But not paintings, not yet.
Yeah, awesome. Well, we look forward to it. I know that you have a lot of paint-alongs as well that you set up, right? And it's if you go on your Instagram, you can check it out where, you know, you have, for example, I believe one was the moon and there was a little mosque, and it was really beautiful. I think it's the Ramadan theme, and you were setting up a Zoom for everyone to join you and draw. And so it's really nice because you now make it interactive. You bring people into your world versus just saying, here's what I'm doing and putting it out there. You're now, you know, establishing a two-way conversation and a relationship.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's so key. Go for it, please.
Yeah, no, I think this is really important. I think it's especially in this time, you know, when everyone's stuck at home and, you know, things aren't that open and people are afraid to like meet each other in person. You know, we have to work with what we have, you know, and we're social creatures. Even if we're introverts, you know, we still need all, you know, the social interactions and stuff. And I think this was a great way of doing that you feel like you're connected to people and people who are like you or creative, you know, or creative souls. And I think bringing people together and being like letting them be heard and seen, that's really important. And I think alhamdulillah for Zoom, thank God for Zoom, you know, that allows us to do that, you know, and all these like technology, you know, social media and stuff. And alhamdulillah, Arty Party has been trying to do that, to connect people, to get them to socialize and de-stress and play games and, you know, like try to help each other out in this tough time.
Mm-hmm. No, I completely understand. And honestly, that's why it grabbed my attention so much. And I wanted to bring you on because it's such a creative twist to, you know, bringing your artistry to life. And I want to ask you, because there's a lot of artists out there who wonder about what it is that I could potentially do to turn my passion into a business, right? Mm-hmm. Is there any advice that we can give to creatives who don't know how they can sustain themselves with their art? Is there anything that we can give them in terms of value?
first thing, I think you definitely need like a supportive system. You need like people around you who support you and believe in you. And if you don't have that, then find the people that are there. There's people out there just like you know, like you have that tribe of entrepreneurs, you know, much of the community, you know, so like find people like that. And alhamdulillah, I was able to take a course, Niche Hero. And, you know, I found a network of people who are like me and who made friendships and stuff. And so you find people who support you and you support each other. To have that, you know, that support, you need to keep going, because this is it's not going to be easy. It's, you know, and it's like it's going to take some time. I think a lot of us, we think like, oh, you know, I'm just going to start the business and then, you know, I'm going to be like full time in 2 seconds, but it takes time. So you need some patience, and you definitely need a support system to keep going. And last is definitely take, you know, courses and go to the people who know. Like Abby, you create content and stuff, you know. So go to the people who like will help you do that, to learn and, you know, grow from that.
Right. Would you say that for yourself, that the mentorship that you received, the support that you received was instrumental in helping you build this business and get these ideas and get to where you are today?
Yeah, for sure. It's one of the many things that helped, and to, you know, get that knowledge that I don't know, you know, some of the stuff I do know, like, oh, I know how to do graphic designing and stuff. I know how to do art, but maybe I don't know how to scale my business up. Maybe I don't know how to manage, you know, and those kind of, you know, details and, you know, what the experts can tell you, it's going to save you time and money. So yeah, it did help a lot.
That's amazing. Definitely. And I mean, I can attest to the fact that it really does for me as well. And one thing that I shared recently on our social media was when I was talking about how, I don't know if you know this quote by Isaac Newton, but he says essentially that if I've seen further, it is by standing on the shoulder of giants. And he was referencing those who came before him, right? The knowledge of those who came before him and his mentors, etc. And that is really the key, is to leverage the knowledge of the people around you, the support systems, mentorship, et cetera, to get to where you want to be. And so that's really a crucial part of being a successful business owner, a successful entrepreneur. I want to ask you, because you mentioned something really interesting, which is that it takes time. And that's something that a lot of entrepreneurs are familiar with. Those who have been working to start their business, it's a long-term journey. It's always a struggle, right? There's always more to do. There's always more achievements to get to, and always more obstacles to overcome. I want to ask you, for yourself as an artist, what was the biggest challenge that you faced, you know, turning your art into an online business and creating Arty Party in itself?
I think it's your own mindset is the biggest battle. I feel like being an entrepreneur, it's like you have to battle yourself the whole time. You know, it's like all the things, like the negativities and like the, you know, shaitan just wants to pull you down, you know, and make you not keep going. So I think that's the biggest struggle. But with like, again, like the support system and like with the mentors and teachers and all these like things, and of course, spirituality, that helps you keep going, because you realize that, you know, at the end of the day, I could do whatever I want. I could do however like much work I can, but at the end of the day, it's from Allah. You know, the risk is from Allah. So kind of trying to find that balance between not like just working 24/7 and becoming like a workaholic, and then balancing your whole life, you know, like, listen, I need to, this is, you know, it's a marathon, you know, you can't just get burned out. So, knowing how to pace yourself and like getting the things in your life in balance is really important, whether it's like spirituality or like mental health, or it could be, you know, physical health too, like exercise and stuff, whatever, you know, helps you keep going and, you know, find that out. And so you can win this marathon.
100%. That's a really good point. And, you know, it's interesting you bring up physical health, because, and I think all entrepreneurs can relate to that. It's that a lot of success in business doesn't just come from the strategy, doesn't just come from, you know, the steps that you take, or, you know, whether you're using, you know, this marketing funnel or this type of strategy, or, you know, you're approaching your advertising, you're advertising on Google ads versus Facebook ads versus YouTube, whatever. It's really not that. The difference maker is, when you're an entrepreneur, you are generally the person running the show, right? Yeah. And with yourself, Uzma, I'm guessing it's the case for you as well, isn't it?
Yeah.
So your business relies solely on your ability to show up every day, right? And to show up with these great ideas, and to show up with, you know, with that high energy that you can bring to the business and bring to the people that want to see that want to, you know, get that value from you. get that energy from you, so they can also feel energized and feel like, wow, I want to be part of this, right? So it's these are the things that matter. It's, being able to show up powerfully every day, being able to be in that state of mind and be healthy and be energized and show up in a way where, you're able to move your business forward, right?
Yeah. To be like your best self, basically. And I think you become the brand, essentially, part of it. People look up to you and they see you that as like, how you are, your lifestyle, whatever. People start seeing that as a representation. Even though sometimes that's a little bit, I was like, oh my God, like that's a lot of pressure. I was like, no, guys, calm down. But it's definitely trying to be the best you can be and to provide value to people who need it, and you also benefit from that too. The energy and stuff, everything, it's like a cycle.
Oh, definitely. Completely agree with that. I want to ask you, with the Arty Party Tribe, what is it that you plan to do with this company that you created, with this business that you created right now? Because right now, I know that you offer events online. Do you plan to also offer local events once the pandemic is over, hopefully? Is there any other projects in the pipeline for you with Arty Party?
Yeah. I'd love to do that. I'd love to have Arty Party parties like in person, but once inshallah, when everyone's vaccinated, everything's clear, then to open up and actually do it in person. I remember one of my friends was telling me, like, she was like, oh, why don't you do it at a park, and do it outdoors in nature? And I'm like, oh my God, that would be so awesome, and everyone coming together. And I'm sure when things open up, everyone's gonna be super excited to have any sort of like parties and socializing and stuff. So I really look forward to that day, inshallah, to do that in person. And the other thing I think is to have, besides if, let's say, in the meantime, is to have more Arty parties, that are for the public, and quick draws that are try to make it more regular and make it on YouTube, kind of make it a game show that's regular that everyone can watch and participate in.
That would be really, really fun, honestly. Actually, especially with, I think bringing it onto YouTube is a great idea as well. I know now you're on Instagram Live mostly.
Yeah.
And it's really for all of you, for those of you who don't know, it's really a struggle. Instagram, they like to be different. And so you can't, like, when it comes to streaming, we can stream this podcast on Facebook and YouTube, no problem. But we can never stream it on Instagram because Instagram have their own platform. You have to do it through the app. It's vertical instead of horizontal, and there's all these little limiting factors. So we've been actually working hard to try to figure out how we can bring this onto Instagram too. So, I mean, inshallah. But go ahead, yes.
It is, yeah. No, it definitely is a struggle. I remember when I first started doing it too. I was just like, how does this work, and why can't I do it? Landscape. I want to do it landscape so I can post it up later. But then I guess you have to do post editing, after it's done. Mm-hmm. But Instagram is fun in the sense though, because there's a lot of people on there. Everyone's excited, and when the interaction and the comments and stuff, it's fun to see. I love Instagram, but that is their flaw. They're very exclusive.
Yeah, definitely. They like to keep the audience to themselves. They don't like to share it. That's amazing. So I want to ask you guys, and from one entrepreneur to another, right? I mean, for you, what has been the biggest lesson that you've learned in starting up this business, right? And I know a lot of creatives, they say, I struggle with the business side of things. I'm really great at my art. I'm really great at what I do, but I don't get the business side. Was this a challenge for you, or was it something else?
The business side is definitely a challenge. I think because there's a lot of things that go into it. Sometimes we think like, oh yeah, we're just gonna do it once or whatever, but being consistent with things, and also like managing different aspects of it, like the social media is one aspect, and then there's also the emails are super important, and so just kind of juggling everything consistently, I think, is a challenge for sure. But I guess with time, like things once you start it up, in the beginning you struggle, but with practice and time, you get better and better at it, and things get easier. Alhamdulillah, that's been happening with me too. Like you start making templates, and that makes life so much easier. So you can just like plug it in, like, oh, this is the Arty Party, it's coming up, it's about this, and so is coming to the quick draw. So templates really help. You start doing that yourself.
Right. They don't talk, that's something that we don't talk about enough. And it's true that it's also something that I use daily in my business. And I wouldn't be able to have a team if I didn't. And I work with 2 people right now in Ummahpreneur who help me out. And with my team, it really is all boiled down into processes and templates. And it's all about, okay, this is exactly how we do this task in the business. And here's how we do this other task. And here's a template for that type of post. And here's a template for this type of post and this type of thing. And so when you and it really helps you as a business owner, because you don't have to constantly think of, okay, how do I create something new every day? You don't necessarily have to. You can have these templates and you can just shift them and change them accordingly.
Yeah.
Right? Do you have a lot of processes that you map out for yourself?
Yeah, like there's basically, like you said, like systems, like, and you don't need to like invent the wheel all over again, and that does help. And also I think sometimes trying new avenues, like I realized, like, oh, sometimes people like to see quotes. I didn't know that. I was like, oh, people really, really like this, so you kind of like experiment with different things, and then you realize, oh, this one sticks. So then you're like, okay, so it's gonna stay a part of like the Instagram post. I'm gonna have a quote on this day, whatever. So kind of have templates and kind of scheduling that really helps as well, to have things organized in that sense.
Yeah, definitely. Scheduling is a big one too. We have our own social media schedule, etc., guys. So I'll be taking notes because there's a lot of value being dropped right now about all the things that we do in our business. So if you're listening, hope that you're taking notes, inshallah. But thank you so much for dropping so much value. I want to bring it back to Arty Party Tribe a little bit more, because this is what excites me the most, to be honest with you. This idea got me pumped, guys. When I found out about this, when I found out about Arty Party, you don't understand how excited I was. I was like, oh my God, because I used to follow you on Instagram, even before, and we knew each other because you were part of our Ummahpreneur Facebook group, right? If you guys aren't part of it, search Ummahpreneur on Facebook, join our group. It's an open community. And you were part of it, and I believe you had joined before creating Arty Party, because I remember looking at your Instagram and profiles a few months ago, and it wasn't there. So I know it's a recent project. Now, has it been in the pipeline for a while, and it's just now you're launching it, or did you really just start recently and then start putting all of these systems and game shows and events into place?
Yeah, I think quikdraw has been more recent. Arty Party started last April.
Okay.
But then it was more private. I think it was less consistent, and it was, and then, I was just kind of getting used to things. So that took some time to get the ball rolling on Arty parties and public Arty parties. But recently I've been starting to do premium Arty parties, which is basically people can, book their own personal events. Cause let's say you want to have a birthday party or an Eid party or whatever, So, so alhamdulillah, people have been, ordering that. So I think that's where, that's been like a little bit more vision, like, you can see that more nowadays. And of course, yeah, quikdraw started more recently, I think, earlier this year. Alhamdulillah, it had, I think 11 or 12 episodes, which is like super exciting because it's different ranges of people, from artists to like shuyukh to like just regular people, and just it's been really fun, alhamdulillah. So it has been like different steps. Like Arty Party came first, and quikdraw came later. So yeah, I think that's what you saw more recently.
Yeah, and there's a lesson to take in that, really, because so many business owners, start off with this big vision, right? This big vision of what we want our business to be. And I'm sure for yourself, for Arty Party, you have this great vision that you want to build, right? You have this image of what you want this business to be, everything that you offer and everything that you want to put out there. But it's important as well to start one step at a time and to essentially build it one step at a time. And you decide, okay, this is the first thing I want to implement. And then I want to implement this other thing and this other thing. And eventually just make sure that by doing this, everything is properly implemented, is properly set up, and then you can move on. Whereas when you do everything at the same time, then you're scrambling like a headless chicken, and you have no more time for yourself. You don't even know what you need to be doing. And everything's kind of done at 50% instead of being 100%, right?
Yeah, I really relate to that. Like you, and if you start doing that, then you're going to get burned out. Then, then things are going to drop and stuff. And I think that's also part of the process. I think entrepreneurs know that burnout, sometimes that happens, but you just have to know when to get up, and, that is, I think, one of the most important things I've also learned, that the process of getting up, it's okay, get back up again. You failed, or you failed in, quotations, or you, fell off the bandwagon, whatever, but you get back up again. And, yeah, that's
100%. And I want to ask you, because, for yourself, what is the point in time or the moment in your life that you decided that, you wanted to actually turn, your passion for art into a business? When you decided, I want to do a bit more than just paint for fun and draw for fun. I actually want to try building something out of this. Was there a certain moment in your life that you could recall, or a certain event that happened that motivated you to have this shift in perspective?
I would definitely just say quarantine. Like, I've always liked, I always like being creative and drawing and, taking art classes in school and stuff. But I never thought of it as like a profession, you know.
Right.
But definitely the quarantine kind of, you know, when things are more limited, then you start wondering, you're like, okay, what else do I do? What else do I enjoy? What can I offer? And it's weird. 2020 really like brought out a lot of, you know, things in all of us. I think we all learned a lot about ourselves in that year. And I think we're still learning, you know, at this time. So it's I feel like sometimes things are always deep inside of you, but then you just don't get the opportunity, you don't get the time and stuff. But in a way, alhamdulillah, 2020 brought that out, and you know, helped me look at myself, you know, and figure things out and find out that, oh, listen, I like this, and you know, maybe this could be something other people enjoy as well, because it's de-stressing for me. And I looked up, you know, like there's been studies that actually, you know, drawing or creating for like about like 45 minutes or so, it actually does de-stress, and everyone's stressed out this time. So I thought, you know, why don't we de-stress together?
So it was really a sense of, I guess it stemmed from some feeling like you wanted to share that passion with people. You wanted to essentially, you know, bring other people into your world and experience what you're experiencing, because you felt like during the pandemic this wasn't possible anymore, and you know, we weren't socializing as much.
Yeah, for sure. And you know what? It's like when you're feeling isolated and stuff. And I feel like a lot of people are feeling like that, isolated, stressed out, and just when all you see is negativity, you know, in the news and stuff, it's really like you can't function. That's the first step I did. I was like, you know what? No more Facebook, no more looking at the news. And now I can, you know, get to get the mindset ready. And then you're able to create and like think and actually do something that's positive, and you know, give back to the world and do something that makes a difference. And I think that really helps me feel like, oh, okay, there is hope, and give other people hope by seeing, you know, if they see you doing that and they join in. So I think it's all about like having hope, I think.
For sure, 100%. I want to ask you real quick one more question that we have, and we'll also dive into some Q&A soon, guys. So for all of you that are watching now, I can see that we have lots of people tuning in, mashallah. So for those of you who are watching, if you have any question for Uzma, and for all of you creatives out there, this is your chance now. This is someone who's been able to really create something amazing with their art and with their passion. So if you have any questions about that, drop them in the comments, and we'll answer them during Q&A. But I got one more for you before we get to that. And that one is this. It's yourself right now as an entrepreneur. You're working on Arty Party, and you're working on building a community. And as you mentioned, you're working on growing your impact. Now, a lot of people in the beginning, when they build a business, the first thing they're looking out for is, you know, how can I generate that income? How can I, you know, land those clients and be profitable? Now, what is the approach that you're taking? Is that the approach that you're taking, or are you more thinking of an approach towards, let me start off by building the community, building the brand, you know, growing the audience first, and then we can get to the sales and the profit, et cetera? What is the approach that you're taking towards your business?
I think it's hard to just do one, because you can't have one without the other. So it's kind of like trying to find that balance between like, okay, like I do want to have an income and stuff, but I also want to like not turn people away because it's too pricey or something, you know. And I think the first step is definitely though to create a tribe and find your tribe, and kind of help them feel like, hey, listen, we're the same, we're all in the same boat, you know, we're all friends here, you know, and it's okay. Everyone's at different levels of drawing or whatever creativity, but we're all the same. So I think first step would be for me is like building that community. Alhamdulillah, it's been growing, and then inshallah, you know, I think the income will come. Will grow once you start providing a lot more value, or people see the value and people share, you know. And I think I'm always surprised. I'm like, what, are you sharing this stuff? You know, you're sharing that, you know. Or sometimes I do like challenges on Instagram, and I'm just drawing by myself, and some people they join in and they start posting about it. So like it grows organically, and that's like a big boost, you know, like, wow, alhamdulillah, you know, it's a big blessing. So I think it's definitely like growing the tribe first, and then inshallah income will come.
100%. I like that. I like that very much. And I think that is the approach that people need to take in this day and age, because I know a lot of entrepreneurs listening to this, guys, whether that's creatives or just not creatives alike. I mean, myself, I fall victim to this sometimes, and we're always thinking about, okay, look, but I need that money coming in, right? Come on, I got to save myself. But you need to put yourself in a position where you're okay not making money for a few months to be able to build up your brand, build up the audience, build up the community, as you mentioned, because without people that know, like, and trust you, that believe in what you do, believe in your mission and vision, you won't be able to move forward, get clients, and just grow your business. And the key to growing any initiative whatsoever, whether it's a business, a movement, a community, etc., is to get people to believe in that mission and that vision. And what you're doing with Arty Party is you're bringing people together and through the vehicle of art, right? It's just a vehicle, and you're bringing these people together through that vehicle. And then you're saying, through this, we can come together, we can have fun, we can interact, and we can build these connections. And I think that's what attracts people to you and to Arty Party.
Yeah, for sure. Connections is a big deal. And, you know, especially when people are losing connections nowadays, it's nice to be able to see like, hey, listen, there's people like me out there. And that feeling is really important. And like at a human level, you know, like you find even people who are across the world. Like I just made friends last year who are like literally one is in Malaysia, one's in Canada, you know, and it's like, wow, you know, this is amazing. And we connect at such a deep level. And just because of these things like this, you know, alhamdulillah, if I can provide that to other people, I think it would be I'm grateful for that, you know, people make friends and stuff and they don't feel so alone in this time, you know, because it's very dangerous to feel like loneliness is a big thing. It can get really dangerous if it's been, you know, just left there. But, you know, if for people out there, you're not alone. There's people out there just like you, and, you know, definitely connect. You know, it's easy to connect, inshallah, with the right tribe. And alhamdulillah, you know, we can all help each other out.
100%. Definitely. Well, I'm definitely a fan of it. And that's why I wanted to bring you on, Uzma. We got one more question for you. And this one is we ask every single guest. One of my favorite questions. And the question is this, before we dive into Q&A, inshallah, because I know we got a lot of questions in the comments as well that are coming in. And that one is the following. What is the one thing that you would tell younger Uzma who's growing up and she's she hasn't really gotten the idea for the business yet. She's considering it. She's not really too sure what to do. Is there one thing that you would tell her that she could hold on to, that she could keep in mind?
Everything comes in waves, you know, whether it's feelings or income or anything in life, you know, it's just a wave. There's going to be high points. You're going to ride that wave. You're going to surf through it. You're going to enjoy it. But then there's going to be times of, you know, lows, and just keep riding through it, because there's going to be always an up that's coming up. So, you know, have that patience and have that tawakkul, and, you know, hold on, I think, to Allah. That's the biggest point. And it's strange because it's like business. You're like, how is spirituality related? But I think it's very connected. Because when you have, you know, that with that connection with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, then, you know, you can feel like it's okay. Whatever happens at the end of the day, inshallah, everything's going to be fine.
Mm-hmm. I love that, mashallah. I think that was something that really hit me. So I like that. It was one of the things that I like the most through this podcast. So this is why I love this question so much, because it kind of sounds off topic, but it's 100% on topic, and it brings out these amazing reflections. So thank you for that. I really appreciate you sharing that. And I completely agree holistically with what you're saying. And this is, I mean, the mission, the vision behind Ummahpreneur, right? To to build a bridge between spirituality and entrepreneurship, and so that we can be stronger in both. Really, that is the goal, inshallah. So we got a lot of questions coming in the comments, guys. So we're gonna give you a chance to get the answers that you've been looking for with Uzma right now. I know you guys got lots of questions for our guests. So if you have any more, drop them in the comments. We'll see how many we can get to. We'll try to get to 3 or 4 at the very least, inshallah, and try to answer them. So one of the questions that we got right now, and this is an interesting question because we've talked about this topic in different ways on this podcast, and this topic is mental health. And this question here is, how does she manage her mental health and doing multiple things at once?
I think the first thing is to definitely have a support system. Have, you know, you have family or people friends and stuff to confide in and to connect with, you know, because you need to be seen and heard. And that's important. The second thing is to have what really helped me through this like entrepreneurship and like through Arty Party and stuff is actually I have like a mastermind group of 2 friends, you know, one is in Malaysia, one is in Canada. So shout out to Mina and Amber for supporting me through this, and we support each other and help our businesses grow. So to have that, you know, that tight knit circle that helps you through those tough times So that's really important. And I think to have things that you know that you enjoy. So even in those tough days, you can get through the day by doing those things that you enjoy. Like even if it's something small, like I'm gonna go for a walk. That makes me feel better. So you know if you're having like an off day, you're like I'm gonna go for that walk. To have a list of those things. So whenever you find that maybe like my mind is a little frazzled today, you go for those things.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you very much for answering that question. We got a few more in the comments and some really good ones. So honestly, I'll try to get to as many as possible, inshallah, guys. So keep them coming because these are definitely some great questions here. And thank you for answering that, Uzma. So we got one more. This one is more of a technical question, but we'll answer it nonetheless. We'll try to give you guys some value. So this one is, when you're about to create an event for one of your Arty parties online, how much time do you give your followers when you first post about it? So it's more of a technical question. Do you wait till the day the event is actually going to go live, or is it a few days or a week or two before the event?
Mm-hmm.
What works best for the outcome for you? And thank you in advance.
Sure, it's a really good question. And you're right, it is pretty technical, but like if it's like a public, like if I'm doing like a public Arty party, like an Arty party that anybody can buy tickets and join online, I usually find that it's at least like maybe 3 weeks in advance. You start posting about it, 2 weeks, and then as the time gets closer, you post more consistently about it. Because like I noticed, like even if like on social media, if you're posting about an event too much, people get turned off. So you need to like space out the advertising, and another thing is like sometimes when you like, you can even like advertise in a way that's like unique. You kind of provide something of value, like you talk about something else, and then you just kind of mention, oh, by the way, I'm having an Arty party at this time, sign up and get tickets. So the people do get the value, but they also get to hear like, oh, look, there's something coming up. So that's another trick for that.
Awesome. Thank you very much for that. So hopefully that gives you guys some value if you guys are in the business of creating events or creating little shows, whether it's in your business, little game shows like that. So I appreciate that little tidbit. We got one more. Doing business in creative world can be very competitive and full of pressure. Any tips for people in general to maintain that creative side? How do you do it? Right, to maintain creativity in a competitive business world. Interesting.
Yeah. I think the one thing is to realize that that there's enough out there. And if we think like there's not enough people out there, not enough sales, that have that scarcity mindset, then you're going to feel a lot more pressure. Mm-hmm. And to, so first have that, that yaqeen that, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is al-Razaq, He is Kareem, He's al-Kareem, He's the most generous. So there's enough out there. So that kind of like lowers, the stress and the pressure. Like, inshallah, I'll get what's written for me. And the other thing is to not look at other people as competition, but like, how can I collab with them? Because I have other people who are doing similar things as me. I know people like that. And then, once you collab with them, instead of seeing them as competition, then you feel like, hey, listen, we're all in it together. How can I help you? And how can you help me? So you kind of feel less of that stress that, and we can all earn together. And in terms of creativity, sometimes I think I find myself that some days I'm very creative. And some days I can't make anything, and that's okay. Creativity is not something that's like very, like you can't like do it on demand sometimes. And that's part of the process. So just kind of be kind to yourself. Like, hey, listen, I'm not going to do anything today. I can't create today. And that's okay. Tomorrow will be another day, inshallah, I'll do it then. So kind of taking that pressure off yourself.
Definitely. And I completely agree with that. And one of the commenters as well to the podcast said, and I completely agree, that there's enough for everyone, and the feeling of abundance is important. And I completely agree with that. In that, there's two different ways you can look at the marketplace. One is from a scarcity mindset and feel like, well, if someone else gets a client, that's one less client in my business. Yeah. Or you can understand that every person only gets what they are decreed. And that if something is determined that is decreed for you, it is part of your risk, then you will get it, no matter how far it is, no matter where it is. So it's important to approach it from that mindset as well. And, just have that abundance and have that reassure, that feeling of trust in Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's, providence and his grace, and him being the provider, essentially. Yeah. So we got a few more actually. So we'll try to dive into two more, inshallah. I know I don't want to bombard you with too many, but I appreciate you, coming on, answering all these questions, because we definitely got a few good ones here. So we got another one here. This one is, let me see if I can pull it up. What gave you the confidence that you can turn this passion of yours into a profitable business? It's a good question because, I think confidence is an interesting topic. It's an interesting question. A lot of people, feel like, oh, I'm not good enough. I'm not the best painter in the world. I'm not the best writer in the world. I'm not the best, whatever it is in the world. And so why me? Why would people want to work with me? How, what allows me to start a business, right?
Right. That's a really good question. I think like not feeling good enough is actually something that a lot of people struggle with. It's like a really human thing. So don't feel like, oh my God, that's so weird of me to do that, to feel like that. So that's definitely, not the case, that everyone goes through that. So from my mentors and stuff, I've learned that basically one thing is that if you, let's say you go into a building, and there's a huge line, and you're waiting in line, and then you get inside the building, like a DMV, like, you're getting your license updated or something. And then once you're done with it, you come outside, just the people online, they don't know anything, but you only went ahead of them like 10 minutes or so. But you have some information. So if somebody asks you, you can tell them, right? So even if it's like a little bit of value, you're providing that value to people. So you are like, let's say like, you know how to draw 3D things, or you know how to draw some things very specifically. There's people out there who don't know that, and they would appreciate that. So, you do have value. So first realizing that. And the other thing is, the other thing, I can't remember. I had 2 points, but I can't remember the other one. But basically, to realize that I think these skills that you have is from Allah. Yeah, like you've been blessed with some skills, some value, something. And to have that, that confidence comes from like, oh, it's not me, these are skills that have been gifted to me from Allah. It's like a blessing. So that, maybe there's people out there who would appreciate that. And there are people who don't have that, what you have, and they want to see that, they want to learn from you, even if it's a little bit. And, so just start. You're going to find that there's a lot more you can offer.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Thank you so much for answering that question. We got one more, and this is going to be the last one we answer, guys. So if you have any more questions, drop them in the chat, and I'll see if I can get Uzma to just quickly respond after the episode. But let's squeeze in one more for the audience, because we got a lot coming in, mashallah. So a lot of people want to ask you some questions. They're interested. So we'll see if we can cater to a few more. One more is this one for someone who has zero creativity in the arts, so drawing, painting, arts, crafts, etc. How do I integrate more of these activities into the family with my children if I can't do it myself? So that's an interesting question.
Yeah. Then I guess then it's like anybody else, and like you bring people who know. So you find like the people who provide these kind of services, or you find things that are online, and there are people who teach this stuff step by step, like Bob Ross. Like I love Bob Ross, right? He does oil paintings, he did oil paintings, and it was all just step by step things, and I learned from him, so something like that. You go to people who know, and you can find a lot of content out there that you just follow things step by step. And then, and of course, with the family, with kids, everyone doing a project together, it's so fun because everyone comes out with something different. You're all doing the same thing, but if you all, like, let's say you all paint the same picture together, but you're going to find like, the kids are coming up with something different, and everyone, so it's always fun to do that. So I think definitely do something that follow things step by step, and you'll find like, hey, listen, I got this, I got this.
That's amazing. Actually, that's a really cool idea as well that you brought up. Just, bringing together the family and being like, okay, this is a picture that we're all going to try to draw, and let's see, let's all try to draw in our own way and see what are the different versions that come up. And it's cool because you are going to have a different, approach from every single person. And when you think about that, I don't want to go too deep on this and start being existential, but where do you think that comes from? Is it a culmination of our experiences? Is it just the way that we view things? We all see things differently. What do you think that is, or what is the reason for that?
That's a really interesting question. I think because everyone's different. Everyone is unique. Everyone has different life experiences. So even, like when like I draw something and I see like somebody else, like an audience member is drawing something, like a guest, and they add things to it that I didn't even think of. I was like, oh, let me add a snowman here. And I was like, snowman, okay, cool. Like that's amazing, but it shows that, you have value, you are unique, and you are important, you're special, like there's something that you bring to the table that other people might not. And that's important to see that. And that's so cool about art. There is no right or wrong, everybody just do whatever. It's art, it's your creativity. So you can never really be wrong about that. So, yeah, just express yourself.
Yeah, I like that. I love that. Well, thank you very much. I appreciate you sharing that. And I like what you said at the end that, with art, you cannot be wrong. And it's true. That's an interesting take. It all depends on your perspective and your approach. So I want to ask you, Uzma, you've come on, you've shared with us so generously your wisdom, your advice, your knowledge. And I really appreciate you. I honor you. I'm grateful to you for that. How can the people listening to this, support you, support Arty Party, be part of the community, and just support everything that you do? Where should we take them to?
First of all, thank you for having me. It's been a pleasure. I really enjoyed this. And well, thanks to everybody for asking the questions, and I'm glad that you guys found value in it. Well, if you'd like to learn more about Arty Party, you can go to the website artypartytribe.com, and there's things that are freebies. There's you can learn more about it, and you even book a premium party if you're having an iftar party coming in Ramadan. You'd like to do that? Definitely go for it. So definitely go sign up at artypartytribe.com.
Okay, artypartytribe.com. No
yes,
S.
artypartytribe.com.
Okay,
yeah.
My bad. So I gotta say, so artypartytribe.com, guys. You're gonna see it pop up on the screen right now. Or if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcast, on the recorded version, Arty Party Tribe, Arty partytribe.com. And also, I think an awesome place to take them is your Instagram, because that's where the fun happened, guys. If you go and you scroll just enough in the timeline, you're gonna find the quick draw that me and Uzma had. So we had a little drawing challenge, and I got on and I drew what did we draw? We drew not a dinosaur. What was his name?
Godzilla.
Godzilla. There you go. We drew Godzilla among other things. We drew an alien and a few different people. So make sure to go check that out, because it was an absolute blast. And it's on her Instagram. What is your Instagram handle? Let's put it up there on the screen so people can check it out.
My Instagram handle is @UzmaColors. So you can find that quick draw stuff, inshallah, on there. And make dua, inshallah. Put this stuff up on YouTube so it'll be more accessible to other people. For sure.
That's the problem with Instagram, guys. They don't want us to go on other platforms. I don't know what it is with them. But Uzma Colors, Uzma.colors. So there's a period in the middle. Check it out, guys. We'll drop a link to both of these in the description anyway, no matter whether you're listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or watching YouTube, Facebook, etc. Uzma, it's been an absolute pleasure. It's been an honor to have you. Thank you so much for coming on. Inshallah, we want to have you back, talk more about Arty Party in the future once it's at a later stage and it's even bigger and better. And I know it will be. So Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for joining me today. And of course, and for all of you who are tuning in right now, who've tuned in today, I appreciate you. I'm grateful to you. Know that every single week I interview Muslim entrepreneurs as amazing as Uzma to bring you that value, that knowledge, that wisdom. And if you like what you hear, if you enjoy these episodes, then be nice. Take a minute out of your day. Go and give us a little rating on Apple Podcasts. Give us a little 5-star rating. Show your support, show your love, or subscribe to us if it's on Spotify or YouTube or wherever you're watching or listening. And we'll see you next week, guys. Take care. Assalamu alaikum.